So we're here today with Reggie of Chevalier Homme, and he was in New York City this fashion week, doing a fashion weekend at the Golf and Body. He presented his spring 2016 collection, and he's just going to talk a little bit about what inspired him, and the models behind us have some of the clothing on, and he's just going to talk a little bit about it.
Hi, yes, so my collection is inspired by the 80s, the graphic prints and the vibrant colors of the 80s, and kind of just like the asymmetrical cuts from the 80s. I decided to do the collection inspired by that era because I liked how modern it is and how much they pushed fashion during that era and the manipulation of color and shape. The collection is consistently more modern, kind of edgy, but still with pieces that can be thrown in with like your jeans or a regular shirt, so it's a little toned down. So it's not for the dramatic piece, but not necessarily minimal aspect, more the glam and kind of like over the top aspect of the 80s, which is why I decided to do a collection inspired by it. I also am really big into punk rock culture, so a lot of the silhouettes for my collection have like a bit of an edge or a punk rock edge to it.
Dylon, do you mind coming a little closer so they could see a little bit more of the design?
For example, this cut is more of a punk rock cut, skinny pants with cut-off sleeves. I wanted to make it a little more dressier, so I decided to do like so it can be worn like dressed up or with a pair of just kind of like regular jeans or black slacks.
It's pretty cool. Do you mind just turning so they can see the back? No?
The jeans are like digitally rendered. They're organic water-based dye because I really like to use environmentally friendly fabric and textiles as often as possible. An example of that is this shirt. This shirt is 100% organic cotton, and the dye is a water-based dye, which is very eco-friendly, and the dyeing process to get the fabric is digital printed, so it cuts down on the use of water and extra electricity. This other shirt also is organic and environmentally friendly. The print is the collection is inspired, more or less inspired by dragons and fantasy, so I used a lot of classical images. This is like a griffin, a print of a griffin, and I decided to use it because I wanted it to be a little more fun, but not necessarily something that was more that was less abstract basically, and something that was kind of like more fun but still referenced fantasy, because the collection had a lot of like fantasy aspects to it.
Nice, yeah. I really like the pattern of those. That's sort of the same thing, right? Where you're sort of like being drawn into the image.
Yeah, I wanted seeing as like I used the theme of dragons, so like I kind of used something that looked like a dragon but not overtly scaly, because I didn't want it to necessarily read so much as leopard print, because I didn't want people to think it was like an animal or leopard print inspired collection. So I decided to like render like an image that was kind of read that way but not overtly, because I don't necessarily like doing things that are overt too much, because then I like to people to be able to see it and get their own interpretation of what it means, and then if they want to know why I actually did it, I'll just explain it was inspired by dragons, and like organics like dragons and like griffins, different things like that.
I know, but it does give you a sense of that period, and also like, I don't know how to explain it, almost gives you a sense of flight. I don't understand why. Maybe because dragons fly.
Yeah.
I don't know. Well, Chevalier Homme is a designer. This is Reggie, and thanks so much for sharing.
Thank you for having me.
Pleasure meeting you.
Definitely.
And thanks so much.